4 interceptions, just 63 rushing yards on 2.6 yards per carry. Yeah, Miami's offense needs to wake up.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
63 rushing yards in that Louisville game. That is so far from the identity that Miami established over their first 4 games. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC, and host of Postgame on the Hurricanes Radio Network. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. On this loaded episode, we're going to talk about what must change, what must improve, and be tweaked for these next 6 games. Because, again, Miami's got everything to play for. One loss did not kill their season, but this has got to be the wake-up call. Did the rat poison get in? We'll talk about it, and we'll talk about the biggest flaws in that 3-point loss to Louisville last Friday, and it's a Tuesday. The truth teller has been chomping at the bit to get in here. Bruce Warner is with us. Bruce, I feel like I should just leave the room and just let you carry the next 30 minutes or so.
Leave the video and the audio on for an hour and get out of sight, will you? Wow. All
right, so I don't know where you want to start with this. I started with, 63 rushing yards and 2.6 yards per carry is obviously not acceptable for the way this team wants to play. So maybe start with the offense. What were the big things you saw in that Louisville loss?
I just want to say a couple of things first. And I want everybody out there, there's a lot of you that can't wait to hear from me. I've seen it in the comments. I can't wait to see what Bruce has to say. So you might not like a lot of the things I say, but again, it comes from here. It's not just something that I'm trying to make the show better by throwing out and spewing all this venom. 33 consecutive points they gave up. Florida State had 19 of them and Louisville had 14 before we scored. So my question for everybody is going to be, and it's going to be the same question. You guys can answer it because I know you like to do comments, especially on me. What on earth were they doing for 2 weeks to prepare for this game? What did they do? Did they work on the offensive line? I heard for 2 weeks in all the pressers, we got to stop those false starts. Did they stop the false starts?
Nope.
No, not really. So you guys, what did they do for 2 weeks? Let's talk quickly about the ACC refs because they're either dumb or paid off. There's no way that 6 people could not see Malachi Tony get tackled on that pass down the middle that was picked off.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. Something's wrong. How could you not see that? And then when he has the so-called, he raises his hand, which he didn't, on the punt where they
that was awful.
Catch.
Yeah.
And he's running for a touchdown and they blow the whistle. What were they looking
it's
at?
Like he literally he moved his hand,
his hand
and
went to the side. It went
right,
to the
but
side.
how so you're not allowed to move your right hand or else they call it a fair catch. Like a fair catch, you put your hand over your head. Like that was that so you're not allowed to move your listen, you need to move your right arm to catch the freaking football. You're not allowed to move your arm now?
It's not in my notes, but I wish Mario would start screaming and yelling. I'm sorry. He just stands there like a statue. Oh, that's what they call it.
Oh, I've seen him scream at the officials.
Not after that.
You're wrong about that. No. Listen, I'll tell you when I think you're wrong. You're wrong about I've seen Mario give the officials an earful.
At this game? On that call?
I'd have to go back and check the tape.
I don't remember seeing it on either of those two calls. Anyway,
all right.
There needs to be an investigation because something's really wrong. We know that they hate us, but come on, that blatantly
But to be
obvious.
fair, though, I do think it's more dumb than quote unquote paid off because I also
know they're
thought
not paid. I'm just kidding around.
I know you're kidding around, but I also thought they gave us a gift on one of those Beck interceptions where they called it back for the roughing the passer.
Yeah,
I thought that was a soft call.
Right. All right. So anyway, let's talk about the offense. So Fletcher up the middle, Brown up the middle. Then you bring in Lyle. Why on this earth would you let him do the same damn thing? He's not an inside runner. Maybe on an occasion. Get the ball to the outside, toss sweeps. Do they have? I've never seen it. Did they have one of those? No. An end around, or some sort of a screen, which I keep screaming about screens. A flare in the flat.
Well, you know what? They listened to you. They listened to you, and they ran too many wide receiver screens. Like a couple of them worked.
Yeah, that's not what I said. I said from the backfield.
I got you.
Not that. They run a million of those same things. And I don't know how I know Lofton whiffed badly on one of them.
Yeah.
Malachi got tackled for no gain or a loss. And of course, nobody I don't care if I say it or not. He ran the wrong route on the last play. He drifted out. He should have made a square. And he didn't do it. He should have had his body in front of the defender. He didn't do it, and it got picked off. That's what Beck was upset about. And right now, I understand why he's not playing that much, because he's not doing the right thing. He's just not. As great as the talent he may have, he's making a lot of mental errors out there. All right, let's go back to what else I was talking about here. Let's see here. So, yeah, the 33 consecutive points was pretty bad. So, from what I understand, Beck was told to stop throwing bombs. This is not an audition for the NFL. There's a lot of people underneath that are open, but he's throwing it down the field. Granted, Malachi was tackled. That should have been a pass interference. Why aren't they sending Josh Moore down the field? He doesn't have to do anything. All he has to do is run straight, and he'll take a safety over the top, will be on him. So that will mean that the underneath is open. You can go to your tight end or your two other receivers and be open all day long. If you're going to use him as a decoy. And they didn't do it. When they see him on the field and he's going down the field, they're going to stay with him. They're not going to single cover him, because he has the ability, more than CJ, who's made great catches, to go over the top and jump up and catch the ball at its height.
Right.
Whereas Malachi can't do that. He's small, But I'm not saying that I'm smarter than Dawson. I'm not saying it at all. But there's things that are so blatantly obvious. What are you doing? And so those are my concerns. And again, I keep saying the same thing. What did they practice for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
They practiced hard, but hard doesn't mean smart. They were not prepared for this. Poyser says after the game, we didn't see any of those plays on film. That's because their coach prepared them for Miami, and Miami didn't prepare for any other plays that Louisville may run. And Mario got exposed, Dawson got exposed, and Heatherman got exposed big time. The tackling, abysmal, just like it was in the fourth quarter against Florida State. The angles, bad, just like the fourth quarter against Florida State. So again, this is the fourth time I'm asking our listeners, what did they do for 2 weeks to get ready for the Louisville game, which was the biggest game of the year at that point in time? They had beaten everybody else. So, it's like, okay. So what I'm saying is, I don't believe him anymore. I'm sorry. You could have a million press conferences and say what he has to do or what's going on. I'm not interested anymore. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to not ever again drink the Kool-Aid until something really happens positive.
Okay.
Like they do what they're supposed to do. Now, had they gotten beaten in a fabulous game where they played great and was just a shootout, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I still would have been upset because she shouldn't lose to anybody with the talent we have.
Well, and let me say this also about you. You're consistent in the way that even if Miami had won the game on a game-winning drive instead of an interception, you'd be saying a lot of the same things today.
Absolutely.
Like, you would be saying the same things even if they won the game.
Replay last week's show, because I watched it again.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, everybody was poo-pooing it. Well, we won. We blew the 14-point lead against Notre Dame. That's not something to sneeze at.
Yeah.
They should have destroyed Florida, but they didn't until the last few minutes of the game. And they blew a 28-3 lead to Florida State. There's no excuse for that. And then they come out, and again, as I said, 33 consecutive points, 19 and 14. What did they do for the last 2 weeks? Is the same question I have, and I'll keep having that question, because working hard, busting your butt doesn't mean you're prepared to beat the next team you play. And that scares me. So when everybody says, oh, they won, what are you complaining about? You're always complaining. That's 4 times this year they laid an egg in a portion of a game that they have no business doing. They're that good, right? They're that talented.
I
They
agree.
don't blow games like this. I'm not saying Louisville's not talented. They're talented.
Right, no.
But they didn't seem to be prepared for them.
Well, and on that note, I want to get into the rat poison question when we come back. The truth teller is on a heater today. He's on fire. We got a lot more to talk about on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. You want to keep it locked. Guys, let's be honest. Most of us can't name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch has helped me organize my accounts, track my spending, and get a better handle on my investments without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. I love that I can review everything with my wife, see our shared goals, and make better financial decisions together. Monarch's digital dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money's going and how to make it work harder for you. Do not let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. We're also proudly brought to you by FanDuel. College football is in full swing. NFL, same thing. And FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I build parlays, I try player props, even follow the live lines during games. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen. For your next listen, check out Locked On ACC. Kenton Gibbs and I, we were joined by Brian Smith, had an awesome episode yesterday. We talked about Florida State not firing their coach, despite all the FSU fans wanting that to happen. Georgia Tech now on top of the ACC, ranked number 7. Miami's fall from grace last week. All of that and more available Locked On ACC, free wherever you get your podcasts and free on YouTube.
Hey, by the way, Alex, in the last drive, Caesar called me and he says, "You know they're going for the tie." He was screaming, "What do you mean going for the tie? Why don't you're home, play to win." They were going for the tie.
I wasn't sure if they were going for the tie or not, and that was the problem. Like, if you're going for the tie, why are you throwing it? But then why are you throwing it into the flats? Like, I don't think they were actually going for the tie because they had 2 timeouts left to go. They were still throwing it. It looked discombobulated.
Yeah, it did. It looked discombobulated. I said I don't know if they're going for the tie either.
No.
But and I didn't know it was a wrong route. I thought it was a bad pass.
Same.
In retrospect, I can't blame Beck for that. If the kid ran the wrong route,
he
should have had the guy behind him.
Yeah.
He should have done a square instead of he drifted. And the guy cut in front of him, picked it up, made a great catch. But I can't blame that on Beck. Obviously, you don't expect somebody to not be where you're supposed to be. But
I do want to visit the earlier interceptions because when you were talking about it before, you were rolling, so I didn't want to cut you off. But you made a great point about, throwing the bombs and not taking the underneath stuff, because if you look at all of the 3 previous interceptions that he threw, there was somebody open, sometimes 2 guys open for checkdowns on all of those plays. And not only that, Bruce, in those situations, the guys open for checkdowns had first downs.
Yes, they
every
did.
single time.
They
so
did.
It's not as if, hey, this is like a 3rd and 15 and the checkdown would have picked up 5-6 yards. No, like those checkdowns would have been first downs every single time. And so I hope that this is easily correctable when it comes to Beck's mentality and that Shannon Dawson is drilling him with this for the next several days, because, Bruce, something that I praised Beck for the first, 5 games was being willing to take the checkdowns. And suddenly he threw that mentality out the window. Maybe it was because they were down 14-0 and he was pressing, but he threw that out the window last week.
Yeah, they shouldn't. They were down early, not late in the 4th quarter by 2
Yeah, right.
They really, they got to work on that. And I'm just telling you, and all you guys, he was warned about that before. In fact, I think he was warned about that before the first game.
Really?
But anyway, they need to make some adjustments. They need some jet sweeps. They need some movement. They need to get the ball in the flat to the backs. And he's got. That's why I say put Josh Moore in there. When you see number 3 on the field, what are you thinking? Do you think he's going to do a bubble screen? I mean, he's done one this year.
Yeah.
But send him down the field. Let's even if you just as an experiment, does the safety roll on him? If your safety's on, he's got 2 guys on him. You're not throwing the ball, but you have other people wide open. Use your imagination. They need to be more imaginative. I don't know what their playbook looks like, but this can't be all of it. It can't be all of it. No. I mean, they had a gadget play where Malachi threw a touchdown. There's things that they do, but he always seems to be involved in all the big plays. What about everybody else?
I know.
So it's frustrating the way they played at home, no less. They can't repeat this, and like I kept on thinking, Florida State's going to blow out Stanford, and they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They scored what? They scored 10 or 13 points.
13 points.
Oh my goodness! So I don't know what's going on. Obviously, Napier's gone.
Yeah, Napier's
and
gone.
I don't think Florida State wants to make that decision. They don't want to give him almost $60 million. They'll figure it out at the end of the year. If he comes back, I know it's going to be under the conditions that he better get his behind out there recruiting, because his recruiting is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but as far as Miami is concerned, now on defense, did we see all those sacks we predicted? No.
Well, the thing is,
you said quick slants, quick crossing routes, and they made us look sick.
Well, the thing was, like, they schemed the sacks away. Like, there wasn't much Bain could do, because they were getting rid of the football in 2 seconds or less. So they schemed the sacks away. The issues that I had were the lack of communication. Like, the linebackers missed a ton of angles. Secondary, like, the communication in the back end was not good. Like, it was a regression to like last year type of stuff in certain situations, which I hate to say. The defense wasn't bad for 4 quarters. I give them some credit, because after they went down 14-0, they were able to find some success, but then they gave up another long touchdown to Chris Bell. So they had a breakdown late, but for the middle portion of the game, they were good. But the gap integrity, Bruce, was really bad on a lot of those Isaac Brown
played
runs.
That well either. They were not getting pressure up the middle.
No.
They were running off tackles and they were into where the linebackers are in a split second. The tackles were just blown up. Not good. And so again, what did they practice?
Yeah, well, they didn't practice tackling enough. I think they've got they got to practice tackling on the ground again this week. But something I wanted to ask you: did you feel like, and I know Mario and the players, they said it 1,000 times the last couple weeks, we're avoiding the rat poison. We can't let that stuff in. Did you feel like they did let the rat poison in? Do you think that all the praise, did that get through to them?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the rat poison got through to them. I think they believed themselves that they were superior to anybody that's going to walk on the field. They practice hard, which equates to a victory. Not true. The brains of that coach and that fake field goal for a touchdown, and one of the guys that drifted off and he let the guy run up for the touchdown. They're just
it was a first down. They scored a touchdown on the next play.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
They still got it. They got the first down. They didn't kick a field goal, and they got 7 instead of 3. And so lack of preparation. They could have called a timeout and said, "Wait a minute, this guy's tricky. He's running all these gadgets. Why not?"
Yeah.
But that's coaching. And you know what? The guy, if he was coaching our offense, we would destroy Louisville. But he's not. He's not. And so, having said that, do I have question marks about our OC? I remember having question marks 2 years ago. But last year, I think Cam Ward kind of covered up a lot of the issues that I had. But this year, I don't know how anybody could score 33 points in a row. We don't score. I just don't get it. I don't get it. What did we score in the fourth quarter against Florida State? 0? What did we score in the first quarter against Louisville? 0? Okay. Yeah. That's very concerning to me. When you factor that in with the Notre Dame, the Florida State game, that's 4 out of 6 games where you have major concerns about what's going on. Yeah. What the hell's going on? Yeah. How could you be the number 2 team and have all this talent, and that's what's happening?
Yeah.
I can't sit here and say they're playing too conservative. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I did play quarterback. I know how to set up defenses and go and attack. That's why, to me, more going deep early in the game where you would see what they're doing, and that's what we have to just see what they're doing. And if they're going to keep chasing him down the field with the corner and the safety, you got other guys that are going to be wide open. That's coaching.
Yeah.
I didn't see him do that one time. And if he did, I didn't see it. Doesn't mean you have to throw to him. You use him as a decoy.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought in terms of the rat poison thing, I thought, when I spoke with Michael Yo a few days ago, and I thought he made a great point that the rat poisoning probably affected the coaching more than it affected the players, because I think that a certain amount of complacency, Bruce, came in to where Miami, from a scheming and a preparation point of view, thought, hey, we can just we have more talent than anyone else in the ACC. If we just line up and we win the majority of our 11 individual battles, we're going to beat everybody. So we just need to keep leaning into what we're doing. I think that was the attitude. Louisville's attitude was, hey, we can't, outside of a few different guys, we can't match up with these guys, 11 different individual matchups. So we need to out-scheme them. We need to throw in 20 plays that they haven't seen before and that are not on film that they can't prepare for. We need to be extraordinary to beat these guys. I think some of that mentality comes from being the underdog and being the hunter. Miami, as the hunted, I thought became complacent.
Yeah, well, again, as I said, why is Lyle in the game only to do the same thing that Brown and Fletcher do? Why would you do that for him? That's not his game. I mean, he can do it, but they still had 6 in the box right at the line of scrimmage. So why would you do something with him? Get the ball in the flat, get it out there to him, feed him the ball 4 or 5 times in a row. And then I just thought the play calling was bad. I don't know whether Dawson's afraid to do things that Mario's not going to want him to do. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the dynamics.
That's not my understanding.
The thing that bothers me the most maybe is he preached for 2 weeks at every presser. The false starts have to stop. They didn't change a thing. They still did the same dumb things. So what did they practice? And that's on coaching. And I love Mario and all his teammates from back then. They're all my buddies. You know that. You've seen me with these guys.
Sure.
And I'm on the field and I'm talking to him. But I'll be damned, you can't be so stubborn, if that's the word. Maybe he's just stubborn. Maybe he just thinks that all we have to do is practice hard and we'll go out there and blow them out. But that 33 points in a row, or the 19 against Florida State, that should have been the wake-up call. Not today, or yesterday. Not after the Louisville defeat. Should not have been.
Well, but this does now need to be the wake-up call, because when we come back, we're going to talk about what must improve for these next 6 games. Because, listen, I mean, you take this mulligan, I know the margin for error shrinks to basically 0, but if Miami does win their next 6 games, they're going to be in the college football playoff, so we need to focus on that. You want to keep it locked right here. We got the truth teller with us on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Folks, we got a home game coming up, and if you go to Game Time, the Game Time app, which is the only ticket app that I use, you're going to find the best deals. They got tickets starting at just $9 for the Stanford game this Saturday in prime time. The tailgates, rivalries, the energy in the stands, college football is the absolute best. There's nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. But that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It is the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay on Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. You even get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you know exactly your angle to the field and what you're going to be looking at. It is the best deal out there, guys. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go! Download the Game Time app today. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We got Bruce Warner with us here on a Truth Teller Tuesday. All right, so Bruce, you outlined a couple of the things that I need to see finally corrected, because it's too many of these pre-snap penalties, some dumb, Unsportsmanlike stuff obviously needs to be cut out. But one of the first things I'm going to be looking at, Bruce, Miami's offensive line this week. Open up some running lanes. Let's get that running game going again, and let's cut down the freaking penalties that are killing us.
Stanford's a smart team. They're not that talented, but they're smart. They don't beat themselves. No. Florida State beat themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And they looked pathetic doing it. I don't care about whether Norvell's there or not. You know,
I hope he gets a lifetime extension.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he'll have $100 million buyout. Who cares? But you know, you look at what we did. We didn't do anything right. What did we do right? What was the best part of the game? I'm asking you. What did we do? What was the best part of the game?
Malachi Tony.
Right, Malachi Tony.
I don't think he put a foot wrong in the game.
Right. And so what do they work on this week? They have to work on tackling.
Yeah.
Angles, adjustments to the D line. I know that some of these guys try to tackle with kill shots, wrap up, stop with the kill shots, wrap them up. There's a lot of issues with the offense, though. The play calling is the start of it, putting guys in position to do what they're supposed to do properly. I now know why Lofton's not playing that much. I mean, there's blocks of time where Bauman is playing and he's not even on the field. Maybe they just don't trust him. I don't know. And I know there may or may not have been some issue of him squawking early in the season. I'm not getting the ball. Well, maybe we know why now. I love the kid's talent.
I think he also might have been banged up a little bit.
He might have been, but he ran the wrong route. So you can't have those mental mistakes. The running game, I mean, they got to stop going up the middle all the time. They just have to. Now, Fletcher's not a turn the corner guy. He does it occasionally. Mm-hmm. I personally think Brown is the best of the three running backs because he's almost impossible to tackle. Yeah. When he gets hit, he doesn't go straight down. He squirms and wiggles and he dives. I like that kid a lot.
Me too.
A lot. And I know that Lyle has a bigger upside than him, but get him the ball where he can do the most damage, not up the middle. He's not going to do damage up the middle for the most part. The receivers, I think we need to see more out there more often. I just do.
Yeah.
And Marion's playing pretty well. He's playing okay. He's not dropping balls. But the play calling is hindering them. And Beck's got to get his head out of his behind. He's got to. And again, if I'm right, and I heard this from pretty good sources, if he was warned not to do what he's been doing and he still does it, I think they're going to take him out. It's a liability. He can't be worried about his stats and his draft status if that's what's going on.
I don't think that's what's going on. I think he was just pressing to make. I don't know if he's thinking I need to do this to get into the first round or into the high. No, I think he was just pressing to try and score touchdowns.
Remember last year? We all off season. He had a bad year last year because receivers were bad, the line was bad.
Sure,
and they dropped a lot of balls. But again, maybe he's trying to play hero ball, which might not.
Well, he was like there's no question. On Friday night he was trying to play hero ball. There's no question. But we need to get him back to the mentality he had for the first 5
And
games.
we have enough weapons to take the ball and run with it. We don't. It's not like an 8-yard turn around and catch it and fall down. This is not touch football or flag football. He's got weapons. Get the ball to the weapons. If and I remember one bomb he threw. It might have been CJ on the left side. CJ was not even past the defender yet when the ball was. I watched it from behind. He was equal to him. He wasn't even ahead of him. So why throw that? And that got picked off. Yeah. Why do that?
Yeah.
Usually you have a guy that's open by a yard or half, then you could take a shot. Yeah. But as you said, there were guys in the flat that were wide open throughout this game. And I don't know why he's missing them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I'm upset. Am I angry? Yeah, I'm angry. I'm disappointed. I drank the Kool-Aid. I was on here saying this was going to be the best performance of the year, but it was the opposite.
Yeah.
So do I trust? Not anymore. I can't. I'm doing the show. Do I trust?
They gotta earn your trust back. I respect it. I respect it. But they have every opportunity to do it. You go out there and beat up on Stanford. God willing, you beat up on Stanford this weekend. It's what you should do. Get Beck his confidence back. Get confidence in your running game back. Cut out these ridiculous penalties and give us something positive to talk about next week.
And stop throwing the same little out patterns to these guys where they're up They're on it. These guys are on it. They were on it. They stopped it. We hardly had any yardage. And I know one of the plays, Lofton whiffed. And Malachi got caught for like a 1 or 2 yard loss.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And that's play calling. They got to open it up a little bit. They have such a good defense, supposedly. Why would you be so conservative? It makes no sense. It's not common sense. So I know a lot of people commented. They can't wait for me to be on the show. They can't wait to hear my comments. I'm talking to you from here. This is me bleeding orange and green for the last 45 years, since 1980. I've seen it all. I've been with the best. I know what it's supposed to look like. And I know Miami has played badly in certain games, like the Boston College game back in 2001, where they almost lost because they were flat as a board. But they didn't lose.
Sure.
And this team came out at home, 5-0, number 2 in the nation, like an ironing board, like this, flat. And there's no reason for that.
No.
You're going to lose, go down fighting, give it your best shot, but they just played poorly. And I hope it doesn't happen again, but I don't trust that it's not.
And this has got to be our turning point. I mean, think about how bad Alabama looked against a bad Florida State team to start the season. They have turned their crap completely around. Right?
Yeah, and that quarterback looks great now. Where he looks like
great. The first game of the season, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, what, man? They're stuck with Ty Simpson, and now he's probably going to win a Heisman this year with the way he's playing.
Yeah, and now that I look at the SMU game, which I thought was going to be a rout on the road,
they've been playing better.
Who'd they kill? Clemson.
Yeah, but I mean,
Clemson. Well, they're not that good, but still, they're still Clemson.
Well, and Clemson also, actually, I will say their backup quarterback wasn't the reason they lost, but Clemson also, their backup quarterback played as well. So.
But I think SMU is going to be really tough to beat, no matter what we do to Stanford.
Oh, for sure.
Because they have a great coach.
Yeah, we got tough games still coming up. I appreciate the truth teller just bleeding orange and green from his heart today, and I know you guys appreciate it.
And I can't even watch the Stanford game because my wife's concert at Aventura is 7 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock, and the game's at 7. So she says, "You're not going to be on your phone the whole night screaming, are you?" I said, I winked at her. I said, "No." Of course I'm going to be looking at the phone.
Will be. Yeah.
And she'll say, "Well, wait a minute. There's going to be a light in the theater right where your seats are." And
listen, I'm going to be at the game with my son Luca, and there is no harsher critic. Like if we miss one tackle, he's going to be yelling there. So we got to win this one for Luca. We got to win this one for the truth teller. Huge thank you to all the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. You look like you have one more thing to say, Bruce.
Yeah, I do. I want you texted me about getting into the ACC final. Is that still a possibility if we run the table? Somebody has to lose for us to get in.
Yeah, we don't control. We have a better chance.
If we run the table, we should be in the playoff. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we have a better chance of getting into the playoff than the ACC championship game.
Okay. All right. Well, then let them beat each other up, and we'll take a week off and get ready. But we're not going to get a bye, I don't think, unless
no, probably not.
Unless we win that. So we're going to have to play. All right. Whatever.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Anyway, have fun at the game.
Thank you. We appreciate
have fun at the concert, Bruce.
Have fun at the concert, Bruce. and don't check your phone.
Don't yell out the S word or the F word if Miami falls behind and she's up there singing. You're going to get in trouble.
Don't do that. We appreciate everybody. For the everydayers, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your pods. And we'll talk to you again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.